Here is the Briggs and Stratton dual fuel Elite 8000. You got a startup of 10,000 and running of 8,000 on gas, 9,000 on propane, and for starting, and 7,200 on running for propane. Electric start. Got the CL guard. I didn't want the Bluetooth. I didn't really see a need for it. Most of the time I'm going to be a good distance away from it. This is how it looks right out of the box. All I did was cut it and lay everything out. I got a warning on there too. See if we can look at that. There you go, pause to read. And for air filter, they just used a foam block. I suppose you could replace that with a conventional cartridge. We'll see how that works over time. Got a pretty decent fuel gauge on there. There's the muffler side of it. And it stands, that's about 3 foot. 3 foot by 3 foot by 3 foot. And it's a little bit taller once you get the wheels on it. And how I got it out, I just cut the top of the box, and then that cardboard was wrapped around it in this sort of fashion. And then that plastic bag was on top of it as well. So I just cut the top of the box, opened it up so I could see good, and then I cut down the sides and dropped that side flap down, and then I just pulled it sideways. You do not want to tip this unit because it does come pre-filled with oil. And actually we should verify that just to make sure. Yes. You can see that. Oh yes. Leave it to me to make a mess out of it. You have to read the manual for the break-in procedure, but with most generators, you run it without a load for an hour, and then you put a varying load, no more than 25% of the generator's capacity. Kind of like like a little air compressor or a leaf blower or a space heater would probably work fine. And you want to do that for another. So run it for an hour without a load, change the oil. Run it again for an hour with variable load, and then change the oil again. And then you can use your synthetic oils. And what I did here, that's what I'm doing for oil. It's just 530 synthetic. And then for the break-in, I'm using SAE 30 because it's kind of cold around here, so we're going to use 530. Here's what comes in the box. You got some really nice 12x4 never flat tires, a couple hubcaps to cover the ugly of the wheel itself, and here's your propane regulator and hose, and then here's the landing gear for the front, and then there's your 2 pins for the back. It looks pretty simple. They didn't give you a bag to put the bolts in. They just put them in, which is actually, I prefer that. That way I know where everything goes. I don't have to read. I can't read. It's okay. You don't have to feel bad. And then here's your operator's manual with 2 keys with it. And then it also came with this startup shutdown guide. And I'm gonna put it in this shack. And I've already got the exhaust plumbed in and everything, and it's got wheels on it. I'm gonna put it right pin it up to the side of the shack on the inside, so whoever needs to use the power can do it. And here's a convenient carrying handle, and stowaway position is with this pin, and it just goes down like that. Goes up, locks in place. Very simple. For power, receptacle 120 to 240 at 30 amp, and then here's your reset. And you got two GFCI outlets. Those are 120 at, I believe they're 30. Choke, fuel selector, and there's where your propane goes into. Okay, let's get it together. So for this, it comes disconnected, so this boot will just come off and slide down the wire. And then you'll need, I believe they're all metric, so, but you can combine the two if you need to. So either 2 5/16 or a couple 8s, or an 8 and a 5/16, either work. And I'm gonna go forward with just metric anyway. So for the axle, you're gonna need 16, and for this, you're gonna need a 13. And this will just slide into there like that, and then you'll take a pin, and then you pin it, just like that. I like to put my pins down, that way, you know, gravity and stuff. It's an airplane thing. You airplane guys will know what I'm talking about. Yeah, and then the other side, I just, oops, just like that. Put a pin in it. Stout little bugger. There we go. Okay. And then the wheels. Let's see. See if I can do this one-handed. It says not to tip, but I think you can use some common sense and not tip it past where the oil is going to run into the carburetor or into the top of the piston. And obviously don't go upside down with it. That's not good. Oh. It's actually not as hard as I'm making it look, because you know, camera, it's directional. It's not, I don't think it's directional, but, and we're just gonna get that kind of snugged up for now. The other, this one shouldn't be quite as hard, one-handed. Oh, it is. Oh. Oh. Perfect. Wow. I'm doing it this way so I have something to pivot against when I put the landing gear on the front. There we go. And then your beauty caps will go just like that, in that kind of fashion, and it snaps over the hub, so you want to push right on the middle. They snap on just like that. You should hear it snap, and just like that. That's what that looks like. There we go. I found on these bolts, once you get that nut tight on the bottom, just hold it with your finger and feel it, make sure it don't move. Once it hits that steel, you don't have to have a backup on it, and it'll mechanically lock to that metal. So theoretically it shouldn't come apart, and I don't really know the torque I'm putting on it. That's probably 120 inch-pounds or better. Just by the feel of it, I am getting it pretty tight. I don't really feel like dealing with it coming apart. So there we go. We got her full of gas. We're gonna try to get it started. Gas is on. do some work on my exhaust. I thought I had it sitting high enough to where it would go into this stove and out. This is an ice shack, by the way. But apparently it's not quite there. I'll do some shimming and blocking. That's okay. But there it is. First start. Smells like smells like assembly oil, like it would. It didn't smoke, so that's really good. Yeah, it smells like brand new motor in here. It's kind of nice. So I'm gonna do the rest of the break-in after I figure that exhaust out, so it's safe. That's super important. You know, any generator shed, you want to make sure it's absolutely safe, because you don't want anybody going down and going to check the generator or going to gas it up, even if it's been off for a while.